So, in my last talking video, I promised to change myself, to become a better person. And so, since it's been more than a month, I failed in that regard. I don't usually get into personal life things on this channel, but I feel that this anecdote I'm about to share explains how I failed best. Now, for context, I was trying what I believed was my best after that talking video. I analyzed, everything I was doing and thought the two main things were my biggest flaws. One being my judgmentalism, and two, my unneeded anger. So I attempted to be less judgmental in the way that every day I would reflect and see what I was being judgmental about, and I would simply stop judging whatever I was judging. And mostly that'd be simple stuff like people's behaviors, like chewing their nails, or those people who are super loud during school. And as for addressing my anger, I just agreed to not care about other people disagreeing, which is honestly a pretty easy thing to change. I simply didn't care if anyone disagreed, if it wasn't important. And as time went on, I believed that I'd stopped being judgmental. And I was wrong. So, as I discussed in the last video, I lost all my friends. But one of them came to contact me again. And he was talking to me all casually, like nothing even happened. And he started by clowning on my custom status since it was some music he thought sounded stupid. Now that's not unusual for him, but it was me who had kind of changed my thoughts. In my growth, quote unquote, I was trying so hard to be less judgmental. And so when he approached me immediately being judgmental for a custom status, I began to view myself as, quote unquote, better than him, or like I was a quote unquote bigger person. Basically, I viewed him acting, the way he was acting towards me, as exactly what I was trying not to be like. And I almost viewed him as an older version of me, essentially. And so, I lectured him about how judgmental he was being. And that's just completely stupid. It's just completely stupid. And it's embarrassing to even think that at the time, deciding to lecture him was the best of my thinking. And that was me genuinely trying to be rational. And everything I said there was me thinking I was conveying my message properly. That means I double-checked that message and everything, and I thought it was okay. Now, it doesn't take a genius to realize that all I was lecturing him about was completely hypocritical. To view someone as a smaller person, or that you're above them just because they judged you about something, is completely crazy. And especially from me. And especially if you know me, like deeply know me. I've judged people for just about anything, and that applies to even my closest friends. I've said so many hurtful things and been so inconsiderate. And just because I'm trying to be better now doesn't erase me being that way before. To judge someone for being needlessly rude, even though I'm basically the king of that, is just obnoxious. And sorry. It's gonna sound cheesy, but this is something I think everyone should realize. We've all done evil. And I don't think we can discriminate evil. And we cannot try to weigh our terrible doings against, other people's terrible doings. Because at the end of the day, we've all done / actively commit horrible things. And so we're not better than anyone else. But I'll be honest, I still don't really agree with the judgmental attitude that person was showing towards me. But I've had the same attitude multitudes times worse than that. How they were acting was pretty light, honestly, compared to the way I've acted. Like, I've been genuinely evil to the point sometimes I'd read the messages and I'd just be in shock of what I said. But anyway, that's why no matter how much I disagree with how that person was acting, I will never be better than anyone who acts in that way. And I especially don't have the right to give a lecture as if my feet have never been in the same water. But what that experience really taught me is that I can try my best and still fail like a complete idiot. And for me, that really shook me. How am I supposed to even believe that I can change for the better if at my peak I can be so delusional? At the time, I double-checked the things I was saying. I read over it twice. I didn't see any contradictions. And yet now I can never even see how I plausibly thought that. And I know mistakes are human and whatnot, but if every time but can I even really afford to make mistakes when the cost is so great every time I do? So I began to reflect on myself more after that, and it took a while to really get to the root of it. And I realized just how selfish I am. And honestly, it was never surprising. I've heard that I'm selfish, but I never set in just how much. So I was reflecting, and I was going beyond the surface level, because at first I was just thinking stuff like, my judgmentalism, my anger, hypocrisy. But when you dig to find out where those things are really coming from, for me it's all correlated to my innate selfishness. I tend to only worry about how I feel about things and not how it make someone else feel. I assume that I'm right about something just because my body makes me feel some sort of way about it. I feel some sort of righteousness or whatever. And this is, it almost seems like obvious. But what's hard is to really figure out how to rid yourself of that. And unless I rid myself of that, no change is going to happen. I can change everything surface level I want. And that's what I've been trying most of the time. Most of the time I say to change, it's not that I actually wasn't trying to change, it's that I was changing surface level things. And I can change any amount that I want. But if I don't rewire the selfishness, then I'll never change. If at the core of myself, I'm just worried about how I feel, then it's over. I'm cooked. So, anyway, after I did that really deep reflection, really deep in quotations, because some people will be like, what took you so long? I immediately got to changing things. And I went further than I've ever did in my changes. And I did things I made some radical changes. I stopped making videos. I stopped consuming content mindlessly. And I pledged to stop valuing my emotions over other people's. I even began doing things that I never thought I'd actually do, or that I never really considered about doing. Instead of consuming content mindlessly, I would look on current event topics or topics that I had harmful views on before, and I would watch to see both sides of the argument and kind of empathize with both in a way, or just logicize which one makes more sense. And not only that, I would do something that I kind of thought was stupid, and I would journal my thoughts. I don't know why I thought it was so stupid, but I thought it was. So ever since I did that reflection, every day I've been journaling my thoughts. And what that means is at the end of the day, I would note what I did right and what I need to improve on. So the point of doing that is to keep myself accountable and always try to improve. But still, what was I going to say? But still, I have to address the selfishness. And really, the only way to do that I can think of is to live for someone else other than me each and every day. And what that means is basically just serving others to the best of my ability instead of always just thinking about me, thinking about myself, only caring about what's going on in my life. So, on most days, all that means is just trying to make other people's experiences better. And I do that with small compliments, just complimenting someone randomly, holding the door open for people when it was pretty inconvenient for me, waving to people, just, making sure I say hi instead of always waiting for someone else to do it first. And making sure I check up on people and sometimes just say, hey, you're awesome, man. And I'm not doing any of that to have the bragging rights to say, oh, I do so much good things every day. I'm such a great person. Because I'd rather die than act like that. But I do these things just because, honestly, that's what I should have been doing every day of my fucking life. And it's almost embarrassing that it took me this long to start doing this consistently. Because I'm sure there's been kindergartners doing this since they've been fucking able to walk. And those kindergartners have hearts better than mine could ever be after even 1,000,000 years. I do have this weird belief. It's more of just faith that in my soul, I'm not selfish. But if you were to check everything I've done, if you were to get a record of my life, you'd think all I ever cared about was myself. But I have cared about those around me. And that's why I feel so much shame now and so much regret. It's not because I lost my friends and I'm feeling the consequences and now I'm sorry for myself. It's just I analyzed the things I did and it was just truly evil. All those inconsiderate jokes I did, all the inconsiderate things I did, all the times I overstepped someone's boundaries, got mad when they did it to me, all the times I was subtle and sometimes blatantly racist, all the borderline misogynistic, that's a hard word, actions, And those actions I never got to apologize for. All the harmful homophobic rhetoric and all that, which is crazy considering all my friends. And just all my hypocrisy. It's just so much. And to be honest, when I think of all the evil that I did to those people closest to me, I just genuinely want to die. Knowing that I did all that and it's unsalvageable, I just want to die. If I could probably I would probably just crawl into a small dark cave, and at least that way I could never hurt someone again, and that people can move on without having to see me doing whatever the stupid shit I do. But as much as that option is awesome, and everyone will be like, woo, I can't really do that. And I'm not going to, even if I could. I have to keep living, because if I died now, it wouldn't make up for any of the evils that I've done. Now, I know for the people that I've hurt, I won't have the opportunity to make it up for them, more likely than not. But for those who stick by me now, and to those I meet later on, I have to make sure that I never treat anyone the way I did to the people that I cared about in the past. So, even to the people that won't ever know me, even people I'll only see in fleeting moments, I want to make sure I do what I can to affect them in some sort of positive way. Usually I find that to be real cheesy talk, and it could sound like that to you as well, but I genuinely don't care. It's what I'm gonna do. It's what I've been doing ever since I made the realizations, and it's what I'm gonna continue to do, because I don't believe I'm selfish, and because I'm not selfish, I'm willing to put others before me and just serve others as much as I can, in the small things, in the big things, whatever I can do. So as far as this channel goes, I don't really care about it much anymore. If I do post videos, it will be solely to improve the lives of those who watch. Again, that sounds cheesy, but if I could just improve it in some small way, maybe a smile, or if they're entertained by the videos, that's all I really hope to accomplish by posting. So yeah, I don't have much else to say. I'm sure this is a giant yap session, but yeah. I hope to see you guys again, but if I don't, know that I'm trying my best every day, and we'll see what happens.